as Lucy got older, and when they sent her off to get remarried to Mitch, and then Lucy moved off to Europe and had an art gallery, I went, whatever, you know.
You like the pill popping Lucy a little better.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Well, I
Lucy,
mean, I was
Lucy's,
gonna.
and one of the things too that they really never addressed, Lucy was given a big chunk of Ewing oil. So Lucy was a multimillionaire in her own right, and could have done a lot with that too. But anyway,
Did you always wish like Lucy kind of got, walked in one day to Ewing Oil and was like, "There's my office, JR and Bobby."
oh my gosh, that would have been fun. Um, just the show ran its course, and then different people left, different people came in, and you know, I, I know that after Bobby came back from the shower, that's when people say that it jumped the shark. I wasn't there that season, and I was kind of separated from all that, so I really didn't.
I
I
kind of
wasn't
love that and didn't, but I mean, I kind of loved it in a way. I was like, okay, well, this is Dallas. I mean, this is just let's go with this now.
whatever. Yeah.
I think one of for me the most iconic scenes of Lucy's is that beginning scene. Like that's what sticks out. Like where she's up in the loft with like Ray, who she doesn't know is her cousin, and like that. Even that's before its time as far as like racy and you were young and apparently young in the show and right.
Oh my gosh. I mean, what an introduction for a character. And for me just to turn upside down with my hair just going and giggling, and here I am with the ranch foreman, uh not of legal age, by the way. I mean, you can't even, you couldn't do that now on television, I don't think. And um and then I am saying dialogue to him when we're up in the hayloft, because he used to date Pam Ewing, Bobby's wife, a long time ago. And I'd say, Ray, call me her name. Come on, Ray, do it. Call me Pam. Do. And he's like, no. I go, come on. And I'm trying to be out. I am not even kidding you. It wasn't until years later. I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. I'm like, I watched it like years later. I'm like, oh my God, that is like kinky stuff that I was doing. I'm over my head. I had no idea. I had no idea. I
Really?
No, I had no idea. It was so freezing cold. We were in like sub-zero weather. I was freezing cold. I was in little jeans and a little top. I was just trying to be able to keep my teeth from chattering. I had no idea like how sexy that was.
It was like sexy and kinky and like also I think just set up Lucy as like this girl is a troublemaker and B is trouble. Like it's like everything at once, right?
Everything at once. It was the best. I love when Lucy was trouble. Yes.
And then when you find out this is actually your cousin, you're like, this is, and it's like, this is just so sick and amazing at the same time on so many levels. Like that was Dallas. You just couldn't get enough.
They just sort of swept that under the carpet when when it turned out that Ray was actually my uncle, that he was my
Yeah,
uncle.
uncle. Yeah, sorry. Uncle, yes. Well, one of the highlights, of course, of Dallas also was Who Shot JR. I mean, 80 million people are watching. We don't have numbers anywhere near that in
I think it
today's.
was more than that, to tell you the truth. I do. You might know
You
better
think
than I
so?
do.
I
Yeah.
thought it was like 80 or like 100 million something, but it could have been more. I thought it was 80, something like around that number, but it was a ridiculous number. Do you remember that? Because I mean, that was cover of Time magazine and like that took over the world. That like basically set up Dallas as a cliffhanger. I mean, it had cliffhangers before, but to me, that changed the game of like nighttime soap TV. And this is what a cliffhanger really is, people.
It was a worldwide phenomenon. Um, Patrick Duffy had pointed this out to me, and I didn't even realize it, that sometimes a television series will start here and then roll out into different countries. Um, our show actually kind of went throughout the world through 190 countries simultaneously. So when we found out who shot JR, the rest of the world found out. So it was a global phenomenon. And I don't know that you could keep a secret like that today worldwide. I mean, I just don't know that you could. So it was huge. And um, we had a cast party at Chasen's restaurant in Beverly Hills. And I remember driving there, and it was like an apocalypse. Every street in Los Angeles, there was not a car to be seen. It was eerie, because everyone was in their homes getting ready to watch Who Shot JR. And it was crazy. So we had the best time at Chasen's. We watched the episode together, and um, Barbara Belgettis and myself and Phil Capiche, who was one of our producers, we were the last three to leave.
Wow. Do you remember, I mean, was your phone like that summer, like were people, people you haven't talked to in forever, were people just, because that was the thing, like people wanted to know, like did people come out of the woodworks to you like, come on, Charlene, you're like on the show, tell us.
Absolutely, and worldwide interviewers and people, and I genuinely didn't know. And they filmed a reel, with different people shooting him, and I didn't even know what was going on. Was getting ready for another scene, and Irving Moore, the director, said, "Come here, hold this gun and just say, take that, and that, you schmuck." And I go, "What is this for?" He goes, "Just do it. Just say, take that, and that, you schmuck." And I went, I wish you would have told me what it was. I would have thought of something more funny. But when I found out what it was, I'm like, yeah, Lucy didn't do it, because Lucy would never use the word schmuck and, and say, take that, and that, you schmuck, to shoot JR. So I knew Lucy was not the perpetrator, but
Was there like I mean, did you guys talk about that amongst yourselves, like you and did Larry know, or no one knew, even Larry Hagman? And did you guys all talk, like, oh, I think it's Sue Ellen, I think it's Kristen, I think it's like, did you, or you guys are like, all right, just let's move on in life, and we're actors and we'll be back next season, and let's not think about
well,
this?
no, Linda Gray does tell the story that she had to tape a voiceover, say, it was you, Kristen. So she knew, and apparently she kept it a secret. So I guess if anybody has a secret, you could always tell Linda Gray. She'll never tell anybody.
Seriously. What was it like working with Larry Hagman? I mean, this character is so, I mean, the show is so brilliant, but like, he was just like, did you realize what an iconic just character? I mean, forget about the show for a minute, like JR isn't just, I mean, you can say to anyone who shot JR and that's it. You don't have to say anything else. That
Yeah.
sentence dates in time, like it still stands true today. Like, did you realize how brilliant Larry was when you were working with him?
It's interesting because with the with since the pandemic started, um, Dallas is on Amazon Prime. So it's gotten a whole new resurgence of people that were my age when I started the show. They're, like 17 and whatever, discovering it for the first time, or people rediscovering it. And I said, maybe I should like try to watch this again. Maybe I haven't. First of all, I've never seen every episode, to be honest. And I said, well, I'm gonna put it on, Amazon Prime, and I'm gonna watch some of this. So I was babysitting my grandsons. My daughter walks in, and my little grandsons are asleep. She walks in, and I'm watching Dallas. And she goes, "Mom, what the heck are you watching?" I go, "Dallas." She goes, "Why?" I go, "I don't know." I go, "I just wanted to watch it. I haven't seen it in forever, and I haven't even seen all the episodes." And I mean, it really was a scene out of Sunset Boulevard. I could have had a martini and a cigarette. I go, "Look at me in a bathing suit when I used to be young and cute." It really looked It was kind of pathetic on one hand, but watching it, I'm watching this and I have to tell you, Larry Hagman was probably one of the most brilliant actors ever.